Let's take a look at doing systems check on your camper in the spring to get it ready for summer. So step one, find your drain points, which mine show right here, low point drains. And you can see right up under here, the two drains right there. Take the caps off and drain out the winter antifreeze, the pink stuff, and drain it into a bucket and put the caps back on. Then you connect up to your fresh water supply here with the water hose. Open up your spigots and let them run until the fresh water comes through. And you do it to each of them. There's an outdoor shower, sink, and bathroom sink inside. Then also, if you've removed your drain plug on your hot water heater right here, you got to reinstall it and tighten it with some little Teflon. You can see the white Teflon tape on there. And then you come up to your propane tanks and you turn your propane on, and this is a selector switch up front here, which tank it's going to go to. I like to go into the stove and turn the stove on inside and purge all the dead propane out of the lines. So once you have your propane turned on, you can come inside and you turn the burner on, and then you try to ignite it. And you shut it off so you don't fill your camper full of gas. I can hear it hissing. So after a few times you turn it on, then it'll finally ignite. See how it took a little while to purge the dead propane air out of it. Then once one of them's lit, I turn the other one on, and those usually go pretty quick. So now you can see it's getting propane this far, and they all ignite. On mine, I have to do a pilot light under here. Turn it to pilot and run a lighter right here, and it'll warm the little contact and propane starts coming out. And then just a little pilot light will turn on, and then you can turn it to full on. See, it's like pilot on and then full on. But we usually don't run the oven that much, so I like the pilot before we use the oven. The next system is the refrigerator, which ours, you can see the power's on with the green light, meaning it's on AC. And if it's on gas, it looks like a yellow light. And then if it's out of gas, it goes to red. So let me show you the burner for the refrigerator. So this is actually where the burner is, behind this little panel, which is right behind the refrigerator. So you take it off, and this one's a two-way, so it has AC, and this is the power going into the refrigerator, but it also has a burner for propane. And what it does is it heats up the ammonia, and then it uses heated ammonia to cool the refrigerator. So it either heats using the AC or through the propane. So to make it switch over to the propane and make sure the propane's going to work, you could just unplug it and then wait. and you can hear the click, click, click. That's the igniter going. And now you can see through that little window there and through the end here, I can just barely see. There it is. See the blue flame in there? So that means it has propane. It's gonna, this little chimney here will start getting warm. And I usually let it run for a little bit and make sure that it has propane and everything's working right. And then when you're done testing it, you can actually plug it back in and it'll switch back to AC. The other thing, if you really want to test it, is you shut the propane off at the tank and it'll switch to, let me show you. Shut the propane off here. And see, it's on yellow now because it's on gas. And it'll turn to, once the burner uses up all the propane in the line, it'll switch to red. Okay, did you just see it? It just turned to red. So it tried to reignite the propane. I could hear it click, 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 click. And it'll do that for about a minute. And then if it won't ignite, it switches this little LED to red. So that's what that means, is it's not burning and it's not on. It's because there's no propane in the system, or you need to go, like I just shut one of my bottles off, so you would switch it to the other bottle. Remember to go back out and plug it back in out here. You just plug this back in and we can put the cover back on. Carefully sets in these little grooves. Just turn these. There. And now when we go inside, it switched back to AC, which is a green light. So that's about it for the refrigerator. The other thing to test are these carbon monoxide and propane testers, and make sure the little light is on. I don't know if you can see that, if it's focused. See, it says carbon monoxide and propane gas tester. It should be down near your floor because propane sinks to the floor. It's heavier than air. And you can check the little light on there and see if it's ready, or like if it's in startup mode. This one, when it's starting up, it'll like blink and blink and blink on green. And when it's solid green, it's on. And if it's alerting, it'll go to red. So you just want to check the date on these. They only last, I think, 5 years. And I just had to replace this one, so I know that. They also come in carbon monoxide only and propane only. So this one's actually a dual purpose one, so it does both of them. So you just want to check that before heading off for camping. The other alarm you want to check and just go ahead and replace the battery in is your smoke detector or fire alarm. And make sure that it actually works, and push the little test button to make sure it sounds off. You know, you're supposed to do that once a year, and just go ahead and put the new 9-volt battery in it. Another system to check is your power inverter and your circuit breakers and your fuses, just to make sure that they're all working correctly and labeled. And like right now, this one's shut off, which is the water heater, so I don't want it turning on when it was just sitting here. But make sure the circuit breakers are all on and working. And it's good idea to carry spare fuses. Like most of these are 15s, so to carry a few spare fuses on it. There's a couple of 40s also. Just to just look in there and check on it. Okay, the other system that I like to check is the heating and air system. So this one is actually a heat pump, so it heats and cools, and it also has a gas furnace that will kick on and have a propane blower to it. So I just turned it on and you can hear the fan blowing. Okay, so to test the heating and air system, this is a heat pump with a gas propane furnace backup. So when you switch it to furnace, and it's set to 80, I think the temperature's, yeah, there we go. So what this one actually does is the rooftop heat pump will turn on and blows a little bit of warm air. But if you go outside, this thing is your furnace, and I could feel warm air. One of them's an intake and the other one's the exhaust, so one of them's starting to blow hot propane fumes. And then my little furnace down here, this is the propane furnace vents, and it's starting to get warm. And on this rig, there's that one. This grill right here is the intake for it, and this is the other exhaust vent, and it's starting to get warm too. So the furnace is working, and up top here, the heat pump just blows a little bit of warm air. It's very hard to tell that it's any warmer than the ambient air. That's the heater. Switch it to off. And the way the gas furnace works is it continues to cycle a blower on it just to make it cool down for about a minute or two. So I don't know if you can hear it, but see that propane furnace is still circulating air and cooling down the propane furnace part, and it'll do that for about a minute. Okay, now that the furnace is shut off, let's switch it to AC. Have to turn it down. I'm not sure what temperature will turn on, so let's go way down. That should make it turn on. There we go. And it's blowing out, sucking in over here. You may want to check your filter screen, and I can feel this cold air coming out. So it seems like the air conditioner is working fine, so let's shut that back off. So all three systems are working. The fan, the air conditioner, the heat pump, and the gas furnace all are working.